Greetings. Okay, so what we're going to go through right now is in step-by-step process of analyzing a property in Memphis. Now, I already have the maps open, but we're going to start pretty much from the beginning. And we start off, I use Realtor. 3A111 is where we're looking at. It's where the university is, Memphis, University of Memphis. Then we set up our criteria. I like to throw multifamily in there just in case, because there's several duplexes. Hide the pending for now. And then I have made a list of houses within that area using this format here. So normally what I would do is I would search lowest price up, and then I just go down the list, find the ones, if there's some that don't have any pictures or not, pretty much turnkey, I might skip those, but I might also put them in just to get the metrics. But what we're going to do today, since I'm going to do it from scratch, is we're going to look up the newest listings. And we're going to go with this one right here that popped up recently and is not on my list. So I'm going to open up that in a new window. And normally what I would do is I'd have all these things up in certain tabs. And you'll see I already have that on the maps. So I'm going to open up this first. Take a look at the home. Take a look at the pictures. You can see here, this is actually new construction. And we're going to see when we go back to the maps, it's not even there. So now it's a 2022, but it's still new construction. So not exactly sure what's happened with it. I see that it was pending at some point and then came back on the market. But obviously you can tell like this is an A property. And I would say the neighborhood, well, we're going to find out what the neighborhood is. We're going to look at crime grade and spot crime and take a look. I would say it's probably a C neighborhood. So I don't know, having an A house in a C neighborhood. Maybe it's a B neighborhood. So but we'll take a look at that. So coming down, you can see, you're gonna look at the details, just kind of get an idea like what's going on with it. And sometimes what I really like is, they'll say something like, hey, investors, this is a good investment property and the rent goes for this, or there's a tenant or whatever else, right? And those are things you can put in your comment box over here to the right, things just to remember. And you can see on some of the ones that I have, tenant occupied, needs work, there's an extra room, so you can make another bed possibly on this one. Duplex, there's one tenant. This one's one side rented for $785, right? Okay, so things like that. So when we start this off, what I'm going to do is go back to the house, go ahead and copy and paste the address here and throw it in. That way it becomes a hyperlink, and then you can right click it and change it so it fits in the area or in the cell that you have it in. So there we go, boom. And then you just move down the list. So it's $195,000. And then automatically a few cells populate. So this is just 25% of whatever the cell is. So you could see right up here. I just did a simple calculation, 25%. Also did a simple calculation for 4% here. That's just what Realtor has. And then obviously the total cash, and we're not looking at any kind of repair costs for this. So pretty much brand new house, and there should be no repair cost to get that ready. Now, this could be high, I suppose. I just go with 4% because that's what Realtor has. And I think previous spreadsheets I've seen, or like, even like the example spreadsheet that I got this from, Michael Zuber's course, I think it was like 2.5% closing costs. So that's actually not something I've looked up. I think you can get a good idea from like the lender about closing costs and see what that would be to get a better, a little bit more specific, a better estimate. So we got the total cash, right? Okay. So next thing we're going to do, going to go back to the listing and go down and start putting in some of those numbers. So we're going to edit this. You can't edit from up here, just so you know. You can, but you're not going to be able to do all the extra stuff. So you got to go down, at least on Realtor, edit it here. So we're putting 25% down. It's going to populate in there. Go with whatever interest rate your lender has quoted you. And then you're going to see here's where the issue we're coming in. So normally within the Memphis area, what we like to do is we like to double the property tax. So whatever's in here, like they're only showing, the county. They're not showing the city. So the property tax is going to be much less than it probably should be. So usually what I do is I'll double this. Obviously, doing $10, that's not right. So what I think is happening here, since it's a new build, is they're basing it off of the land and not off of the building as well. All right, so we'll move down to home insurance. So what I normally do is add 40 to this one. And remember, this is specific to Memphis area. So 104 for home insurance. And we can verify this a little bit. This is just kind of like some quick math that we can do. This one, we're going to actually verify it now. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the Shelby County. And this is usually what I put in. This is the criteria. I'll figure out the county, state, and then I'll just say like property tax calculator. And like I said in the previous video, not all counties are created equal. Okay. So some of them have really good calculators and others are like, no, you're gonna have to dig and do a little bit more work. Sorry about that. But I love the ones that are like you can put the address in and it already populates and all that type of stuff. So this one's not horrible, although I'll tell you when I first got here, so we're putting 195 and then it says, what is the current tax rate? And I'm just thinking to myself, you should be telling me that, I mean, come on. So you got fine tax rates right here that you can open up and take a look. And it's going to give you a little bit, but you can see some historical ratings here. So what I did was I just went ahead and used the number that they had down here. Here's the tax rate. So they kind of give you an example. So that was nice. 339 per whatever $100 or whatever that is. So 339, it's residential, and then you calculate it 1652. That sounds about right. So it's probably okay if we do 1652.63 divided by 12, $138. So that's probably right. And that's what we're going to throw in. So we're going to throw in $138. And then update it and close. And now you have your numbers here that you can start populating your spreadsheet with, right? Okay, so we see it's 1,033 as the principal and interest, 1,033. Insurance is 104 and then 138. Okay, so we're not exactly sure on property management right yet because we don't know the monthly rent. Okay. Now, so that is going to be our next step, is finding out the monthly rent. Once that happens, then we can calculate property management expenses and vacancy and get our total expenses, and then we'll finally get to the point of getting all of these. So when it comes to finding out the rent, you can see down here I have Section 8 and BAH for the area. Now, is someone living down here that is in the military? Probably not. They're probably going to be living a little bit more north closer to like the Navy base, but there could be like maybe some reserve bases or something like that. So possibly. But what I did here was, and it's not something that you can really see by looking at it. So I had to tell you is I took the HUD fair market value and I did 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom, 4 bedroom. Okay. And then the BAH, I took E5. So sergeant or let's see, petty officer second class. Um, what's Air Force? I'm trying to remember. Staff sergeant. And so that's a good way to like look at it is to look at the E5 BAH because those are normally the guys that or girls that are able to live out in town. And then also, this is the calculation that they use for people that are using the GI Bill is E5 BAH. So it's not perfect, but it's a good estimate to kind of get an idea of how much military or veterans would be able to get per month for rent. Okay. So, but we're going to go off of this over here, I think, for right now, and we're going to be probably conservative about it. And then I might even show you, well, I will show you like some rent comparables that we'll look at too. Okay. So right now we got this place. It's was it 3 bedroom? Yeah, 3-2. So we'll put that in over here. 3-2. I think it said it's been on there for 8 days, maybe. Can't remember what that was now. We'll say it's new build. Okay. So for the rent, if we were just saying right away, hey, it's an A house, so and it's 3 bedroom, this is what the fair market rent would be, 1711, right? I think we could probably let's just start off at 1500 and then we'll take a look at the comparables and see if that actually matches up. So you can see already by putting 1500 in there, it automatically puts the 10%, and it could be less, it could be 8%, 9% for property management. And then this automatically puts 15%. Now I might lower this one since this is just kind of like the generic 15%, but because the house is so new, might not put 15%. Like we would see what the number would be if you just put 10%, it will lower it quite a bit. And then I feel like I did something wrong there. Okay, we'll get back to that then. I feel like there's something not updating here. Oh, well, that's why. This one does not have L43 in there. Okay, so now we can see all of these. Thought that was fixed. Oh boy, I'm gonna have to go back and check these then. Okay, so this one has, you can see a negative cash flow of 150. If we change this to 10%, it brings it down, so the negative cash flow of only 75, but still not looking good, right? We're going to bring this back up to 15% just for example purposes. And then we're going to look at the rent comparables. Okay, so if you bring up another realtor tab and you go to rent, and then you do the same place. Actually, before we get into that, another thing that I do is I usually look at the area first. Okay, so I'm going to look at this area first. I already have the address in, and I'm going to come down here and I'm going to look to see. I mean, you can see right here, it's an open lot. There's nothing there, so it's new. So this photo is from prior to 2022, it looks like. But you can kind of get an idea, see what's going on. You see how people maybe take care of their lawns and what type of cars might be in the driveway. Just how the houses look, see, the driveways look, things like that. And then I'll come up here and I'll kind of zoom out just to see what is around the area. So obviously I already told you like this is University of Memphis area. So you got that right up here. There's also a campus right here with some sports complexes. And then right, you got some access right here to the interstates and then to the airport. So it's a decent area. Let's see. And even really close is like some areas over here that have some grocery stores, right? So good area. I've heard that this area is pretty good, the Sherwood Forest. So we'll take a look though. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the address and then I'm going to go to what's called spot crime, put that address in, take a search, and then you can kind of see all of these things that have happened around the area. This is where our home is. And then you can click on these, get a little bit, you can get more information, but you see theft, assault, burglary, what was this like? Yeah, vandalism. Um, what's nice is I don't see any shootings, so that's good. Usually it's like a little target symbol. Got an arrest over here, things like that. So you're looking at that, and then I will go to crime grade, and we'll throw in the zip code, hit explore, load the map, and then you kind of have to find your area. So it's let's see, it's somewhere around there. It's you got that Prescott Road that's sort of curved, so it's in this area somewhere. Hendricks, right there. Is that right? Okay, it's at the very beginning, so oh, it's up here. Okay. So it's in this area. So you can see like that's it's maybe like a dark orange. It's not quite to the red over here, but it's getting close. And it's near an orange area. But from what I've heard, this kind of area here is not bad. And if you zoom out to Memphis, you'll see like, I mean, most of it is pretty much orange or red. So you got a few pockets over here, but just because it's orange doesn't mean that it's garbage. So that's what I'm looking at there, just to kind of get a quick idea of what the area is like. Does it make sense? Putting the numbers in. Now, if we look at the comparables of this area, so let's see if we can quickly find Hendrix over here somewhere, right there. So you're not seeing a whole lot for rent. Oh, that's because I have the filter up. All right. So if we do 3 bedrooms, just three, and then we take a look at this, you can see, you can start to get an idea of what the pricing is around here. Now, I'm not seeing any 1500, right? So to me, that means, I mean, we could just take this one. This one is the closest one, I think. It's a 3 bed, and we'll just take a look at it, see what it looks like. It's got 8 photos. Looks pretty good. It's not brick, but it looks pretty good. Take a look in here. Carpet. Carpet's not looking so great. So this is probably, looks like it was repainted. Maybe this was redone, right? So show the, where's the kitchen? Kitchen. So it's probably not an A. I mean, if it is an A, maybe like an A minus, but I'm saying more, I'm thinking more like a B plus. So we would look at this one and say, okay, I could probably get at least that amount of money. All right. Let's take another look. Let's look at the highest priced one in this area. 1375. Let's just take a look at that one, see what that one looks like. And it's only got 3 photos. But you can kind of see like, I mean, matching cabinets, or matching appliances looks okay. Bathroom looks pretty good. So probably an A, right? Maybe we could just say it's an A. and that one's 1375. Okay, so when we go back to our spreadsheet, we have 1500 here. Probably could maybe still get 1500. We're just going to leave it 1500. So maybe normally I would change it down to like 1400 and then, yeah, let's do that. Let's just change it to 1400 because it's a little bit better than the other one. And you can see we're losing $225 a month. Now, again, the good thing about this Excel sheet is that you can come over and change some of this stuff. So I'm probably going to change this to 10%, right? Make it makes a little bit more sense. We're just going to keep the property management the same. And then what we're going to do is look to see how we can change this thing up. So a lot of times what I like to do is I like to just make a new line. I like to see what the original was. And that's why we're going to actually change this back to 15. So, and then I'll highlight, this is just what I do personally. So I'll highlight this one saying, okay, I changed this. And then what I'll want to do is I'll want to change this. Okay, what price makes sense for me to get some cash flow? So I'll probably just do 180 just to see what it looks like. And then we'll have to go back here and we'll have to change up our information. So 180. And then we're gonna use the same. It might be a little bit less, but we're gonna just use 138 here. Update that, and we see now that our principal and interest is 953. So what does that do for our numbers? 953, not quite 100. And then you kind of see what it does. So now we're only losing 75. So you can get an idea of like, I would do another one of these, or I could just change it here. I would see where does it make sense. So it looks like for this one, I mean, who knows? Let's try 160. Let's see what that does. And then we'll lower this to 135 because it's probably gonna be lowered a little bit. We'll update that. So 847. 847. We're gonna go to 135. And now you see if you got the price down to $160,000, now you're finally making some money. But is that really worth it? Probably not. You only got a 1% yield or cash on cash return. And I mean, it's a new property, so maybe you could take that into consideration, but that is going to be what you're looking at to really make some money. Now, another, this is a lot of stuff, right? Like you just keep on manipulating the data, which is fine. The 1711, remember we come back to like the Section 8 pricing. If we changed it to 1711, let's say we can get that amount. I mean, it is new, so it's probably going to get inspected just fine for Section 8, right? 1711. Now we're seeing we're making quite a bit. Okay. Now, if we come up to this other one where we didn't change anything and just quickly change this to 1711, let's just see what it does. You see, now you're making $8.25 a month. So that's kind of it right there. That's in an I'm not going to say in a nutshell because that's a long video, but that is how I go through this process. We'll see dark orange for crime. Now, some in-depth analysis, which you can see on this spreadsheet, kind of goes through each one of the zip codes, and we'll start from the top. And I pick a property. You got a 3-2 right here, and then I find all the comparables, all the rental comparables. I grade each property, show the square footage, bed, bath, what's the school grade on Realtor, so it'll show you that. You can also use like Neighborhood Scout, which I heard it's probably a little bit better. And then this is the same thing, just what we did before to estimate like the mortgage. Now, this rental price the way we estimate this is I go through these comparables and say, okay, you got a bunch here. What's the most expensive one? 2,400, but it's also an A plus property. So I can't remember if that one was a brand new one. It was a while ago that I did this. But then you got a bunch of C pluses here that are 1380. So could I get more than 1,500? Maybe. But even at 1,500, with the 10% PM and 15% off for vacancy and other types of maintenance and whatnot, still I have a cash flow of this. Now I didn't do the ROI and all that other stuff, but you can see like this is your monthly cash flow. And then I think, yeah, I think this is the monthly cash flow. This should actually be going for this one. Let's see. Okay, that's the monthly cash flow right there. So we took the 10% off for the PM. We took the 15% off for this. I'm gonna have to relook at this because that looks wrong. Should be 15% off of the actual rent. Okay, so it says in three. Oh, I guess that's right. Q3 divided by, but that's how much. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look at that. Sorry. But you get the idea. This is how I look at the rentals, or I put the one house that's for sale, and then I look at a bunch of rentals that are right next to it and are the same makeup for the most part. You might have a little bit of difference, but pretty much the same makeup. You got two ones, and I look at the two ones, and I look at this, and kind of just, and the good thing is like the rental comparisons, it tells you what it actually rents for. Like it's got the rental number there, so you don't have to guess it. You just have to kind of guess this one, right? So you can go by, Section 8, BAH, like we mentioned earlier, and then you can kind of refine it maybe with the comparables. And that is how I go through and kind of get this. Now, it took a little bit longer than it seems like it should, but really I can go through these on this spreadsheet, not the other spreadsheet, because that's a little bit more in depth, but this one can probably get through these in like maybe 10 minutes tops. It depends on the county website sometimes. It depends if I'm going to a different zip code or a different city or something like that. But for the most part, that's how it goes. All right. So that's it. That's the in-depth or step-by-step analysis, what I do, each one of the websites I use, and how I just kind of keep those up and just plug through any new ones. So it takes a while to get the zip code set up, but after that, it's just like maintenance. Like you just kind of go on every so often, every day and see if there's anything new, throw it in your spreadsheet. And we saw that particular property did not do well unless we decided to change the monthly rent to the Section 8, or if we put the price way, way low. And who knows if they would even take that. You can look at some history. They had some price. I mean, you can see it was listed. Wow. It's been listed for a while and they started at 249. Doesn't look like it was sold at all. So I do kind of wonder if just it being in this neighborhood and how much the home how much the home cost and how nice it is that it's just not selling because of that. It's like a brand new home on this lot. It's everything inside is brand new, but you can see like they have gone down what, $55,000 in the last 2 years almost. No, just one, just not quite 1 year, but they've gone down quite a bit. Okay, that's it. And hopefully this was helpful. I know it was probably pretty long. You could probably put it on like Double speed. Well, it's too late now. I'm telling you at the end, I put it on double speed. Oh well. All right, take care.